Hello, my name is John Peacock from Associations Forum. I'm honoured and delighted to be saying some words to you today about successful associations. Firstly, my thanks to the Korean Society of Association Executives for inviting me to share some of the experience that I have gained over my years as an association executive and advisor. Firstly, I'd like to mention good governance. It's important for associations to have the right structures in place for their organisation. And we say that you have to, first of all, define who the members are, realise that their role is to appoint the board of directors. And the key thing for the board of directors is to appoint a chief executive officer. The governance is a complicated term, but it means the oversight and the vigilance of the organisation. And importantly, governance is not the day-to-day management of the association. The final thing I'll mention on this slide is that you need to have directors who are thinking of the interests of the organisation and not themselves. The next slide is about having good, clear constitution and rules. Your organisation needs to, first of all, ensure that you know what your purpose is, and you need to put that in the constitution so that it can only be changed by the members with their majority consent. Another thing in the constitution, you need to define who your members are, who can be a member, and what their voting rights are at a general meeting of members or the annual general meeting or AGM. And finally, your constitution needs to address the issue of who is going to be on your board of directors. We say that you should have an average of about 8 people on your board of directors, and that you need to clearly put in your constitution how long they can stay in that role, where they come from, how many terms they can be there. We also recommend that there be term limits on the board of directors, because we shouldn't have people staying on the board for a long period of time. We usually say about 3 years is appropriate, or maybe 4 years to be the chairman of the board. And if you've been on the board for about 10 years, it's probably time to retire and let someone take over. When you have a board of directors, their number one job is to appoint a good chief executive officer. This person is an employee of the organisation and they are not a voting member of the board. Their job is usually to be a full-time role in achieving the goals and the responsibilities of chief executive, whereby they work with their staff to get things done. And importantly, it is the role of the board to empower the chief executive to hire the appropriate employees, the appropriate events manager or membership manager or policy manager, and the board does not micromanage or interfere with who these people are going to be. If you have a problem with the team, you have to approach the chief executive, and he or she needs to sort it all out. Finances are very important in associations. You need to understand them, and you must realise that making a profit is a good thing. If you don't have profits, you don't have reserves to be able to grow the association and hire the staff with a financial buffer. The recent coronavirus disaster around the world has shown that associations are smart to have built up reserves over a number of years, because times are tough now, and this is when we're very appreciative of the fact that we have money in the bank. It's when you have profits that you can hire staff, and we also say you must avoid fraud. Importantly, you must ensure that you have strict processes and procedures to see that nothing can be taken from the organisation illegally. This is a terrible thing for all associations. I'm sure you'll agree with me. Technology. Technology is tremendously important because we want associations to employ staff who can get things done easily and with modern technology. It is important that they have a good database and quick internet access, a good website, and things need to be automated as much as possible, because if you're employing people, you really want them to be able to get on and achieve the results as easily as possible using the best technology that's fit for purpose for your association. Member services are why people join. You must have quality member services that add value to people, and the member services must always be developed with what is in mind for the association. Remember that, again, during COVID-19, conferences, which are such a popular service and a very profitable service for some associations, have gone for most of 2020. And you need to be as innovative as you can be to try and supplement these services. But unfortunately, it is hard. There is nothing like meeting people in person, and whilst I'm delighted to be online with you today, there's nothing better than personal interaction. And finally, I want to mention advocacy and being the voice of your members. You will have heard from the other keynote presenter, Mary Kate Cunningham from the American Society of Association Executives, of her role in promoting the beliefs and the opinions of the members of her organisation to the American government. And we say that it's very, very important for all associations to be the voice and to advocate for what they believe in. Communications and marketing is very important as well. We define communications as staying in touch with your current members, and marketing is broader to potential members or to the public. You need to do these things as well as possible, and we believe from our research that it is still email that is the number one way that communications are done with members. So you need to make the most of the systems, and you can't have a good email communications or email marketing without having a great database. Another thing on communications, and probably more in marketing, is to use the media. Sometimes you can make quality impressions on the public or the government of your country in Korea or other countries by utilising the newspapers who are interested in your stories. So we believe it is important to cultivate a good relationship with the media. Membership is at the soul and heart of associations. You need to increase your membership, because if people aren't joining you, they may be joining someone else. Again, I mentioned that the importance of a database. You need membership that starts with a good database of current members, of prospective members, and other people that you know and you want to communicate to. You always have to promote yourselves to prospects, and sometimes you have to get on the phone and ask them if they will join by selling the advantages and benefits of membership. And finally, regarding current members, we say it is very important to engage with them throughout the year, and not just at the time that you want their membership renewal or you want them to book to attend one of your conferences. So tremendously important to have that ongoing engagement, and that requires a good technology and good staff to be able to continue the message. The second last point that I'd like to make today is about the importance of having a good plan. A plan can be strategic and operational. Sometimes it's a mix of both. And you need to get your boards together for one day every year to make sure that they know, the association knows where it's going. And along with the board, you should have the senior members of staff who get together, and you need to clearly say where we are going and why we're going to be going there. In my observations of association plans over many years, I find that many of them are too complex, too complicated, and not to the point. You should aim to have a strategic plan that is 1 or 2 pages long, and then supplementary plans that can add to it, so that people can have great clarity in what they are doing. And another reason for the importance of plans is that you need to clearly tell your Chief Executive Officer what he or she should be doing. If you don't have a clear plan, your Chief Executive has too much independence and may go off in directions that the organisation, the association, does not want to go in. And my final comment today is about a culture of cooperation. All of the previous 9 points are good, but they're no good if people aren't working together as a team and clearly knowing who does what. You want happy staff and supported staff who are always keen to boost the membership, and you must always remember that the association is there for the overall goal, its mission or its purpose, and not for the advancement of any individual within it. Thank you so much for your time. I wish the Korean Society of Association Executives very well at this annual training day. I'm honoured to have been here today, and I would invite any of you to drop me a line or make comments. If I can be of any assistance to your association, I would be honoured to do so. 안녕하세요.